Bobby's going to be with us in a few minutes. I just figured I would fire this up right now so they can get all my sheets up and kind of get organized here. You have all kinds of different slates that we have to deal with, from MLB to the various showdown slates and the various two-gamers in football tonight. Boy, what a! I think I like it, the two games. I don't know why, but I think I like it. What is kind of annoying again, and I will just repeat this, is that I think FanDuel can't like run a good show slate. There he is.
What's going on?
What's happening? What's happening?
How's everything going? I've been up since midnight. I went to bed at 8:30 and woke up at midnight because I had an early morning flight and I couldn't go back to sleep. So I just got in and I'm ready to get into this.
Yeah. So I was giving people a kind of a heads up. So for me, there's 4 different things that I want to deal with today. The major leagues, the MLB slate, and then all 3 variations of the Monday Night Football, like showdown for both, and for the two-gamer. The two-gamer, obviously, that's paying quote unquote $1 million for first, whatever it is.
Right.
But I definitely want to look at the 2 showdowns as well. I'm just reserving some spots in the FanDuel, not in the showdown. Obviously, I've boycotted FanDuel Showdown for forever. So they had a 6th. All they got to do is add a 6th player. That's it.
Yep. It's so bizarre to me that they can't figure this one out.
Just add another player, and just to give everybody a recap from football yesterday. I lost a little in DraftKings, lost a little in FanDuel, and I basically won 50% of my money in Yahoo again for the 2nd straight week. I don't know how, but
that's nice.
Yeah.
Boy, what a high scoring day it was. I didn't get to play, obviously, because I was not able to from where I was, but kind of happy I didn't. Although I think if I would have played enough lineups, I think that my 5th favorite stack was going to be that Miami Baltimore game. So maybe I would have got something.
Yeah, I talked about that in the preview earlier in the week, and I did get some of it, but dude, to win, that's all I played was the Millie Maker. If you want to play that, you got to accept it. You got to be perfect. Right. The guy who won by like 12 points. He had like basically the nuts. Like it's like
you probably would like near perfect, right?
Yeah, you had to fade Barkley, which is kind of a tough fade. You had to and St. Brown was obviously a good play, whatever. But yeah. So what do you want to do first? You want to talk about baseball first?
Yeah, let's do it. For some reason, I've got this thing that I can't get rid of on my screen, so I can't see the chat right now. So I'm trying to figure that out. But let's talk some baseball.
Yeah, no time whatsoever to do Yahoo tonight, Adam. Sorry, literally no time at all.
Yeah, that's tricky.
Just ran out of time.
I'm gonna try something really quick, and I'll be right back in here. Just take me 1 second here. Give me 1 second here. So might be disappear.
Oh, there he is. And he's back. What? Now he's gone again. He's back, then he's gone, then he's back.
My apologies. Sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure I could see that. So now I'm good.
By the way, I haven't been live with you guys in a while. Just to kind of follow up for those that weren't following this, I did not win my seat into the live final.
Oh, no.
Despite, the process was just perfect. But you know what ended up happening, Bobby? To analogize this to something with baseball, like what if I said, okay, I gave you a real good looking, like a real good looking 3-man stack to play, and you played it, and it ended up smashing so much that the only people that advanced were the people that did 5-man stacks.
Oh man,
that's basically what happened. I identified the right. I identified there was like one like kind of lock, and then there was one like coin flip game. And the idea was you're supposed to play a big stack from the lock and you get the right combination of the small stack from the pick'em game. Chan was right on the money with who to pick in the pick'em game, so I used that, but I used them as the 3-man instead of the 4-man, and they just completely set like the world record for kills in like 2 games in a row. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I want to catch you up on something because here's the question that's Adam putting up, which is obviously quite relevant. So this is what happened last week. You were in here over the weekend or whatever. Was that Justin Verlander was back, and he was on the 15-day DL, and he was sitting in the dugout for several starts, several possibilities, and they said, okay, we're going to start him against Oakland. And they were saying that, what is he going to come back? Is he going to have a pitch count? Whatever it was. And this was the big discourse. And there was a little bit of coach speak that said that he was definitely not going to pitch as much as he's used to. Okay. And that was all we got. And so what you were getting was a situation where people went, well, okay, 75 pitches enough, or this. And we knew he was going to be a little lower on because of it. And then what ended up happening was he pitched very few pitches. He pitched 5 innings, and he basically pitched a perfect game. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, in like 72 pitches, he pitched, like 24 fantasy points or something like that. So, I mean, when I was, when I was analyzing that spot, I'm like, why exactly would he not pitch his full limit? You know what I mean? He had a calf injury. I mean, like Verlander had a calf injury. It wasn't
I'll tell you, to me, that's a very different situation because Houston has absolutely 0 to play for. There is absolutely nothing going on, and they're doing it. I mean, that's amazing.
So that is background. I think you tell me, but I think what's different today is that number one, Scherzer had a rehab start. Okay. And number 2, the Mets could use a win.
They need it. They really need it.
So, and I remember there have been times, it wasn't Westbrook. It was somebody like Westbrook. It kind of reminds me of Scherzer. If I suggested you that Scherzer would have a pitch limit, you'd be like, "You kidding me? He's not have a free pitch limit." You know what I mean? Like Westbrook is going to be limited. What? I mean, what the hell is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So is that kind of where you're at with respect to your analysis of this? And I didn't get any coach speak or anything like that saying anything about it. So I don't know.
My analysis is that it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because if there's the team that doesn't walk and it strikes out a bunch against Scherzer at low ownership is a gold mine. I made some FanDuel lineups where I used Scherzer over Burns. I think that's really a sharp play. Now the problem is to try and get different, you kind of have to play a stack you want. You kind of want to play these more expensive stacks, so it's a little harder to get Scherzer in. Truth be told, I'm not using either of them in my biggest buy-in, either Scherzer or Burns on DraftKings. But I think playing Scherzer is completely fine. Even last time after he missed a month, he threw 70. No, he missed more than that. Maybe it was longer. It was like 6 weeks. He threw 79 pitches his time back. He had 11 strikeouts in those 79 pitches, which is kind of amazing. But I think Scherzer is absolutely as good a play as Burns tonight.
So for me, like cutting kind of right to it, like who are you thinking of using? Are you using Cabrera and Wright? Are you using Wells? Yep. Like, what are you doing there? Which one?
I like Wells, but I also like Cabrera and Wright. Yeah. That's where I'm at. Yeah. And it allows me to get the stack because I love the Dodgers today. I don't know what kind of lineup they're going to roll out. Talk about a team that has nothing to play for, but can't stop winning and hitting. I mean, they're just so much better than it. I'm sorry, I'm just going to go on a quick 2-second Dodger rant. The Dodgers are significantly better than everybody else in baseball. I don't think it's particularly close. This is one of the best teams we've had in modern history. And it's a team that also has faced Merrill Kelly a ton and happens to absolutely own him. I believe that they have a 360 batting average against him for the lineup that's projected tonight. I believe they've hit 9 home runs and 180 at bats. They've also hit 12 doubles. So you're talking about, he's also got a 10% walk rate. So when you take 10% walks, roughly 14% extra base hits, and then a 360 average and a 450 on base percentage, that seems like a spot you'd want to attack. So I love the Dodgers. I also love the Orioles because basically the night is going to be decided. I'm going to have San Francisco players in my lineups, but the night is going to be decided by who else you use. Atlanta will be the next most popular, and I think Baltimore is the next most viable. So I like it in order. Giants. I mean, if I just raw points, Giants, Dodgers, Baltimore point per dollar, and then Atlanta. That's the way I'm doing it. And I'm just going to make sure to not have the full 5-man stack of the Giants anywhere. And I will have the Dodgers. I'll have a lot of 4-2-2s, a lot of 4-3-1s, a lot of the 4-4s with the Dodgers and Giants. I really like the Dodgers-Giants mix. It's very easy to get in together. We don't know who's playing for either of these teams yet because they haven't released the starting lineups. That's the only thing that's concerning me. But I think that this.
So we didn't talk about this before, and and you and I are pretty much on the same page, with this one exception. So first of all, you identified a very important variable to this, and you hit the nail right on the head. Is what type of Dodger lineup do we get?
Right.
Is this one they just mail in? Which is they don't really have to play anybody. They could have played up with the whole minor league team to see what they got. You know what I mean? It's very possible.
Right. But that's been the case for weeks now.
Right. So that's the one thing. Second thing is the way I'm dealing with the pitching on DraftKings is the pitch count on Scherzer is not as much of an interest to me as the pitch count on Wells. Okay, because Wells is on kind of the way back, and in addition to like Coors being something you always have to deal with, you always have to deal with the situation where you have a righty against Detroit. You know what I mean? Like it's always just has to be considered.
Right.
And my initial take was I was going to try it. I was going to try some combination of Cabrera and Wells, or even Wells and Wright, and fade Cabrera chalk. You know what I mean? On DraftKings, that's what I was going to do. And as far as the hitting goes, I thought that Atlanta was actually going to be too sneaky. In other words, I think they have a chance of being as popular as San Francisco at the end of the day. So I would be inclined to say, okay, who am I pivoting off of both of those? And the team that I came up with was the Dodgers, like you said. The Dodgers and the team right above the Orioles also, but there was another team. Colorado. Right, Colorado. So I prefer to play Colorado from that game. And so Colorado and the Dodgers would be my favorites, and then it would be Baltimore, but it would be depending on the Dodgers lineup. So that's kind of so we're sort of on the same page. So you didn't talk about Colorado as much. Do you like them at all, or?
I do like them. I don't think the ownership discount is going to be enough for me to want to go crazy with them.
Okay.
I think that you're going to see similar. I think they'll be lower owned than the Giants, but I don't think it's going to be an extreme amount lower.
By the way, I gave a shout out to you. By the way, the Dodgers were up against Kelly last week when you were away, and I was doing my thing on live, and I'm listening. And there's no way I'm going to feel really bad for Bobby, but because he's been playing the Dodgers against Merrill Kelly for years, and I'm going to be all over them tonight. And if they win me all the money, I'm going to have to send Bobby some money, whatever. And I was getting all this freaking heat in the chat about how Merrill Kelly's really good and like all this stuff. Turns out the Dodgers didn't really do much that game, but we get another shot. So we get another shot. Even
better. They great. Lower the ownership. I'll take it. I'm not saying this is like some sort of a lock, but like if it is a normal Dodger lineup here, you're talking about a team that just, I mean, they own him as far as it goes as a pitcher. I mean, even in that game, like they scored 3 runs, hit 2 home runs in 5 innings off of him, and they had 5 walks. They could have easily put on a huge number that night. So I am very comfortable going back to the Dodgers against Merrill Kelly if they have their normal lineup, as you said. I think that you nailed it completely. And I think that you could play anybody to the bottom of the order. You could play anybody at the top. If it's the normal lineup, I don't think it really matters.
When is the Colorado game?
It's at 5:40, 8:40 Eastern.
And then when's the Dodger lineup come out?
It's probably going to come out right near lock, which is going to keep the ownership even lower.
Well, I don't mean lock. I mean lock for the Colorado game. You know what I mean? Because if I get the Dodgers as a bad lineup, I want to be able to switch to somebody.
Yeah, and I think that what you do is then you'll get it before the Colorado game for sure.
Oh, okay. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, so I think what you do then is because the prices work out similarly, is you switch over to the Rockies if you have to. Unfortunately, that's going to be a popular team, but that's probably your best bet. And you'll probably get it before the Atlanta game as well, which would be the other team that price-wise is sort of a similar price tier. And by the way, if this slate was like a tiny bit smaller and I wanted to get really crazy, I wouldn't mind playing the Mets. That's my super get weird, giant field tournament. You play the Mets against Burns, but I don't think you need to do it because there's just too many other good viable options tonight.
Yeah, I actually prefer Burns to Scherzer, given everything.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but I think that's going to be when you factor in the ownership of
that's
Burns versus Scherzer. it's weird because on FanDuel, I mean, I don't know if these projections are going to change. It is interesting that Scherzer's as popular as he is looking on DraftKings. I think it's because people can play Burns and Scherzer together, but they have them similar. They're similarly owned on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, you have Burns projected to be 5 times the ownership of Scherzer. And is he really going to outscore him that many times here? I don't think so.
No, I agree.
Yeah, and by the way, even if the other Dodgers play, if they just move a couple other positions around, and play mostly their normal lineup, I still like them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think this is the kind of spot I'm going to take a shot on a small slate. I'm always going to try and do it. It's probably worked for me about 30% of the time when I've done it against Merrill Kelly. But when it works, it wins you all the money. You know what I mean? That's how I'm approaching this one. So I've had two 25K plus wins against Merrill Kelly in probably the last 10 times I've stacked against him. But that's because no one else is doing it. And I don't think that they're going to be popular enough on a 7-game slate. And they're just the best offense in baseball. So they're the best team in baseball, period. I'm
not fading San Francisco today. I'll probably sort of be with the field, sort of, I guess. But I do like the Dodgers as the team, so to speak.
Yeah, I'll be all over San Francisco as my 2 to 4 man stacks. Just not doing the full 5-man. That's all I'm avoiding.
Oh.
And if you do it, you can actually do it with the Dodgers and still have a chance to be profitable. You just need to hit it so perfect. It's so hard to do,
right?
At these ownerships. So
and Cabrera seems safe enough. I mean,
Cabrera is I'm honestly a little bit like I loved Cabrera. When I first looked at this, I wasn't looking at ownership or anything because I was on the plane. I couldn't even enter a lineup because I was in Washington. And then it turns out in Oregon where I had my connecting flight, you can't play in Oregon, which is really weird because I knew people who play for a living in Oregon. But I thought Cabrera was going to be I thought he was the best play on the slate. And now seeing the ownership, I'm a little concerned that
he's going to be 65% in the big one for sure.
It's a little too much, to be honest with you. And I think I would rather take my chances and try to find a way to get up to Scherzer if I wasn't playing the Dodgers, basically. The Dodgers are expensive. I want to play. When I play the Dodgers, it's very hard for me not to just plug in Turner and Betts automatically. So if I'm going to do that, it makes it really tricky to start, to play Scherzer with that. Although there's ways to do it, but then you have to do the Giants 5-man stack, and that's what I want to avoid personally. So I like the Wright and Cabrera mix, but I'm going to get different with my bats. But I'm a little upset with how popular they are. So if I was scripting today, I would be way over on Scherzer. I would be under on Burns, probably a little bit, maybe right around the field on Burns. And I would probably try to go underweight Cabrera and Wright in the big tournament, in the giant field tournaments. But in the smaller, in the 1,000 or less people fields, I would be overweight on those guys and overweight on Scherzer, lower on everybody else. That's the way I'm approaching it anyway. Kershaw is an interesting one tonight because I don't like the idea of playing him today. It's hard for me to say that because I don't think people realize how just really good he still is. He's awesome. But he's throwing 80.
They have no interest, though. I mean,
it's very strange, though, because the Dodgers, if we're going to worry about Scherzer's pitch count, the Dodgers, I mean, they're not letting him go out, Kershaw go out there and throw more than 90 pitches hardly ever here. He did.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I have very little interest. I can't play him.
Yeah, and then again, you might see the 6 innings of a perfect game with 10 strikeouts or something like that. Sure, that's just always going to be on the table. But I would rather fade Kershaw and play the massive upside of the Scherzer, where you're getting those double-digit strikeouts a lot more often. Burns, and I'll give you one weird one tonight. Who a lot of the advanced stuff likes better than, and I think he's really, really good and really coming into his own. It's a terrible matchup, obviously, but again, Houston has nothing to play for. Not that it'll matter to the hitters who are playing, and they have their normal lineup, so. But I think Rasmussen is a better play than Kershaw is tonight, factoring in ownership and everything.
Wouldn't be the first time you were right on that guy.
I feel really good about being ahead on him. I haven't really been able to cash it for a huge thing yet, but I really like the idea of a 5% owned guy that could easily be the highest scoring player on the slate.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, I'm going to fix this in a minute. But yeah, I'm going to have Cabrera. I think Wells is gonna pay off tonight.
I hope he does. I mean, first of all, I'm absolutely. I love Wells as a player. And by the way, but they are careful with him because he's really a big part of their future. But at the same time, they actually are playing for things right now. You know, Baltimore is not out of it yet.
No, not at all.
They're going to give themselves a chance. So I think this might be the game where you probably won't get more than 80 some odd pitches, but at 6,100 against Detroit, really hard not to like that. And the other get weird, if you wanted to get double weird, it would be him with Wade Miley. I don't mind that. Wade Miley has always been a better pitcher than he gets credit for. And it's a Miami team that it wouldn't surprise me to see, 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, 1 earned run or something. And Wade Miley puts up 25 or something like that. So I like that idea of the double spend down if you're going to do it different than the right Cabrera, which is what I'm doing. But that's
you want to talk about the football games?
Let's talk about them because this is an interesting spot here. I mean, yeah, you got it. So we have to start with Josh Gordon, right?
Right.
In a weird way, don't we? Isn't this there's no actual receiver in Tennessee that we're supposed to play. You have Woods and Westbrook, whatever. Just say Westbrook or whatever. They're playing the most snaps. I think Woods is a much better receiver than he gets credit for. I'm guessing this is a game script where they're going to have to throw the ball some. It's very hard to run on that Buffalo team. So we want somebody cheap from them, but they play 6 receivers that are all really cheap. Why wouldn't we take a chance on the guy who might be the most talented of all of them?
Is he still the most talented?
I mean, he's got skills. It was hard for him to break into the Chiefs lineup, but I mean, the guys the Chiefs are running out there are always guys who run 4.2 40s and all that stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's tough. Maybe he's not that guy exactly, but why couldn't it be a Josh Gordon game? And really, you're talking about one play because there aren't that many really cheap receivers that you love. I love Woods as a possession receiver in general, a guy who can run some end arounds, things like that. But I don't know that he's the guy I want to plant my flag on. Partially because with Davis now actually officially inactive. We're gonna have to be pretty high on Jamison Crowder, right?
So I have a different approach to that game.
Okay.
So both in show. So here are my takes. So I have two big takes. Two stands. I'm going to be taking in these slates. But first of all, with respect to that game, I think that Tennessee is going to struggle mightily to get much of anything going offensively. And I think that the game is going to be just a real, like a Tampa-Dallas game. I think it's going to be 27-10. I don't think Buffalo is going to have to put on the accelerator either. And I wouldn't go crazy with so many Buffalo guys.
Which is why I think that Crowder is the better. So this is Kevin saying he likes McKenzie better than Crowder, and I understand that thinking. But I'll just remind everybody what Cole Beasley did. He had 7 games of 20+ fantasy points, and basically Jamison Crowder is Cole Beasley.
I kind of tell you what I want to do, especially the 2-game slate. What I want to do is play Devin Singletary on Buffalo, and really, and maybe one other skill guy, maybe Diggs or whatever, and then spend the rest of my slots on that other game.
I'm mostly with you on that. I think that's pretty right. Yeah,
I mean, but I definitely in Showdown, I'm definitely playing at minimum 1 running back from Buffalo in every lineup.
Yep.
And I think there are variations where I can play 2. That's just what I'm going to do. And yeah, I mean, if this were a big shootout type game, let's say Buffalo was playing Philadelphia or something like that, and I thought Buffalo was going to have to put up 35 points, I would get into this real discussion of Crowder, McKenzie, and then how much Knox to play, and who's the 5th best receiver on whatever. And then, oh boy, how many touchdowns is Allen? But I just think the game is going to be a yawner, and I think Buffalo is just going to flex and win easily without having to do much. That's just my opinion. And what that also means is that I'm probably only going to end up playing one guy from Tennessee, and it's not going to be Derrick Henry. So that's take number 1. I don't think I'm going to have Derrick Henry in any lineup tonight. Uh, I just don't see it happening. That's the best I can describe. He's going to project well, I guess, but what are they going to do? They're just going to stack the box against him, and once they're down 17-0, the game is over for him. I think. I don't know. That's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna try to find the best Tennessee guy I can come up with in showdown to be the fifth. Maybe just run it back with Tannehill. Hope he scrambles a little bit. Maybe take Josh Gordon, like you were saying, or maybe Robert Woods, or just trying to sprinkle those receivers and just hope I get the right one. And that's kind of the game script I'm going for in the showdown and probably in the classic also.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I personally, I'm on a little bit of a different page here. I like Tennessee to cover.
Okay.
I think this is a perfect setup for Buffalo with all the days off, hearing how great they are again. And look, maybe they're going to prove me wrong, again, like they did against the Rams, and they'll just go completely nuts. But I'm kind of I'm into the idea here of
there's but you think Tennessee can cover by in a high scoring game? Probably not, right?
It would be hard, but I don't think it's impossible. I mean,
okay,
it wasn't like the Rams couldn't the Rams have a legitimate an issue. They can't run the ball, so we don't really know how. I mean, the Bills are going to stack the box. I think that's pretty off. Pretty good call. I think you'll see probably some trick plays from Tennessee, and I think you're going to see one of these receivers hit. It's really hard to know which one it's going to be. I'll take the guys who are on the field, which is Robert Woods and Westbrook, and then I'll take the shot on Josh Gordon.
Adam just came in and said that all the Dodgers regulars are playing.
Okay, so then I like the Dodgers very much. Yeah. It's interesting that we still don't have a Giants lineup, by the way. They've got a lot of guys who are questionable, so it's going to kind of dictate the baseball slate. I actually think that I think the Titans are covered tonight. That's my take. I like them plus 10, and I think that I think Henry. Well, while all those things you're saying about Henry are true, we also got to remember this is a guy who in these kind of 2-gamer slates or showdown thing, he could be 2,000 more, and he was getting played regularly. So they did price in a discount for him.
I know.
He also was much more involved in the passing game last year than he was previously, and I think you might see him a little bit more involved tonight.
Awesome.
In general, on a big slate, I don't play Derrick Henry until at least December because it's just the same thing every year. He crushes everybody later in the season. It's like the opposite of Melvin Gordon, who crushes early in the season. But I mean, I do have Dalvin Cook ahead of him, but I am playing a lot of those guys together. Actually, I think there's enough of a chance here that Derrick Henry could have a game. I just don't. I don't know what we're judging the Bills' defense on entirely. They're good. They were good last year. I think they will try to stack the box early on. I think Robert Woods is the most natural guy to play in that game, but I do think Derrick Henry. But in general, I agree with you. We're playing guys from the other game. So let's talk a little bit about that other game, because I have Hurts rated ahead of Josh Allen today, personally.
I have them about the same.
Yeah, they're pretty close. But I do feel very frustrated with how Philadelphia uses. It was very frustrating when you nail Week 1's game and you have all of Detroit and all of Philadelphia everywhere, but you get 5 different rushing touchdowns from players from Philadelphia. That's really tough 4 different rushing touchdowns from them, and then a defensive touchdown. My take is that I do think the Sanders thing is viable. I really like Kenneth Gainwell though, especially if you like the Vikings in this game. And I love Adam Thielen. I think Adam Thielen is a very viable in the showdown for captain. Just because he has a bad week, there's going to be a lot of people shying away from that. By the way, my favorite player from Buffalo today is Dawson Knox. I think that is the best tight end play on the slate, even including Goddard. It's between the two of them, but I think that you don't have a whole lot of tight end options, and I think that Dawson Knox, if he had it, because he doesn't have a big week 1, he could have easily been like 70% owned on this slate. Like he really could have been.
So I have a take on that, which we'll get to.
They just paid him a ton of money.
What's that?
They just paid him a ton of money.
Yeah, well, I got a different idea. So first of all, with the Philly side, I like the Thielen play over Jefferson for pretty much a similar reason as I like the Devonta Smith play over AJ Brown. When I was talking up AJ Brown before the first week, you even mentioned to me, is AJ Brown actually even the best receiver on that team? Are you sure about that?
Well, but then you do some digging, and then you see that in camp, all they're doing is trying to make sure AJ Brown gets the ball. I'm not saying that he's the best. I'm not saying AJ Brown I think is the best receiver, but I like
what I'm saying is that Devontae Smith is literally half the price. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so if you like, so I like both. I like Thielen a little better than Devontae Smith because I'm sure Thielen's awesome. You know what I mean? Like he just didn't do too well last week.
Yeah.
But I definitely like that. But I tell you who I'm playing. I'm going to be playing Irv Smith today. And last week, apparently he missed some of camp. And so they gave the other dude more run last week or something like that. Whatever the guy's name is, Dalton or I forget his name. But I think that Smith can look. Smith was getting ownership last week. People were talking to him up, whatever. And I think that a stupid little stand like that on a 2-game slate is kind of what I need. So I'm going to take my little shot with Irv Smith here, and hope he just gets the snap share that that we were expecting last week. Hopefully that excuse that he missed camp is good enough for me. Never play him on a 14 gamer, but on a 2-gamer, especially Dawson Knox is obviously the best play, right, at tight end.
Right.
But aside from that, between him and Goddard. So I'm just hoping that's actually the case, which it is. And I'm like, all right, what happens if Irv Smith gets a touchdown? Where's everybody? So that's kind of my kind of stupid little weird take from that game.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I have from that game is just because I am gonna take shots at Mr. Showdown, Boston Scott. Like he always seems to come out of something. So I think this is the exact type of slate to play somebody like that. So those are my kind of like ways to kind of just try to get different and try to get a
little different.
The Irv Smith, the no Derrick Henry, and maybe some Boston Scott. And
I don't think anyone's playing Boston Scott. I think the other ones. I think Irv Smith actually is going to get some ownership today, but I do think Boston Scott is a good way to get different.
Okay.
And I like that call quite a bit. I'm a little higher. It's hard for me because I do like Gainwell.
Yeah, I know.
And then there's always that weird. Hey, Dalvin Cook gets hurt all the time. You know what I mean? And we know Madison's going to get some work anyway. He's
getting a projection. I mean, he's getting a little bit of a projection, actually.
In fact, in Showdown I'll throw in, anybody who got any work last week at all for Minnesota, which would include CJ Ham. So like only in Showdown.
The Ham.
That's only for Showdown though, like because he's so cheap. He's a guy.
I had the other guy. Wait, I had the guy from Buffalo. Who's the guy from the Raiders? The Packers. Kumaro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. So I mean, the guys I'm overweight on are I'll just go through the highest owned players and just say where my ownerships are because that's probably the easiest way to do this. I'm probably right with the field on Cook. I'm under on Jefferson, and it doesn't feel good to me to be under on Jefferson.
Okay.
It's the worrisome. I think he's truly, other than Cooper Kupp, possibly including Cooper Kupp, the best receiver in football. And I think but you have Adam Thielen right there at significantly lower, also lower ownership, but no, he's still going to be very highly owned. I'm probably with the field on Cook. I'm near the field on Diggs, a little below the field on Diggs, actually. Just because I think it's going to be skyrocket. I think his ownership is going to be like 70%. I really think it's crazy. I'm near the field on Henry. I'm a little below the field on Sanders and taking the Gainwell or Scott approach. I like the idea of the Scott weird thing. And then I'm underweight on, I'm near the field on Singletary and Moss. I basically am playing one of those guys in a lot of my lineups. Overweight on Devontae Smith, underweight on Isaiah McKenzie, overweight on Jamison Crowder, underweight on Trayvon Burks, overweight on Westbrook Akine, overweight on Josh Gordon, overweight Alexander Madison. Weird. Look, it's a 2-game slate. You got to try and get a little weird, right? I'm going to also take some shots with some Quez Watkins, just hoping he catches one deep ball, and that could be your 3,300 guy. I keep looking for that 3K-ish guy. So Josh Gordon and Westbrook and then Quez Watkins are my 3 take a home run shots on those guys.
Okay.
What is the bot? I don't know what's happening with this bot. Apparently there's a bot thing going. I'll ban it for you guys. Sorry about this. Block user, and then he'll be gone. There we go.
Yeah, there was some asshole over the weekend that I had to deal with.
This wasn't even. Yeah, this was.
No, I know.
Oh, they put Luxton back in tonight. Okay, that's an interesting.
What's that?
The Dodgers are. Oh, so Lux is actually in the lineup. I had him projected as out of it. But that's. I like that. I mean, it's a strong Dodger lineup anyway you look at it. All right, so I think that's mostly what I'm doing, and I am highest on Hurts. He's my highest owned quarterback. Josh Allen is second. I'm not getting too crazy. Cousins is right there, and then I do like the idea of playing Tannehill with Woods, and I think you could. Trying to decide what else I would want to do with like if I wanted to double stack a receiver, because if you want to play game script, like they're going to get targets, and that's why I really am into the Crowder play tonight. Is just as a possession receiver, Isaiah McKenzie does nothing for you. Josh Allen has had that blanket like he had with Cole Beasley last year, and I think Crowder can fill that role without Gabriel Davis in there. Now, you could also make the argument that the home run hitter could be McKenzie instead of more likely than Crowder. So, but I personally am higher on the Crowder side of that right there.
He looked pretty good. I think he looked pretty good last week.
He's a good possession receiver who can occasionally hit for a big one. And that kind of thing is going to work with Josh Allen. He's a really, really – I mean, this guy was putting up 20 fantasy points every week with the Jets without a quarterback.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't see why we wouldn't want to be all over him today, personally. That's where I'm at. But as far as differentiators, it is always hard on these small slates. That's why I like mixing in your stuff and maybe throw in a little bit of Jeff Swaim to be a different tight end option. Just hope the tight end's bust and he catches a touchdown. But I think Dawson Knox is the best play at tight end. I think it's even viable to go with him and Goddard in lineups because I think people are going to look for the third running back in their builds where they spend down. And I think that if you play Goddard with Knox, it's going to be a little bit more unusual. Yeah, but hard to get way off the board. Yeah. And again, Johnny Munt, same thing as Jeff Swaim. I think both those guys are viable. So
Austin Hooper could be in play.
Austin Hooper, I think, is going to be pretty popular. I think he and Irv Smith are going to be owned a little bit.
Is Kyle Phillips out?
Who?
Kyle Phillips. He's in, right?
I believe. Let me just make sure nothing's happened. I don't know. I don't think I have the answer on that one yet. That's weird. We should have probably gotten that. Maybe it happened while we were here. Gabriel Davis is out, but I don't have Kyle Phillips. Yeah, that's the other. I mean, it feels like you're just playing roulette with these receivers.
But we have to know it's an hour before game time, right? I mean,
what's that?
It's an hour before game time. There's got to be something.
Yeah, there's got to be news on. I'll take a quick look, real quick, because they announced the Gabe Davis thing while we were on. Let's see, Hilliard out. Phillips still questionable. I'll go on Twitter real quick and see if I can find something. All right. Yeah, I mean that's something we need to find out.
We don't know.
I don't have it right now. I don't have if you guys have it out there, because I'm looking at it. That's kind of a big piece of information. So I think we need to find out about that one. I like that call by Adam though. The Khalik Shakir.
Yeah, the Shakira from I tried that before.
Yeah, because I really like that call. I think that's really sharp for a showdown play. I like that very much, Adam. If he's going to play, I think that we take some shots with him. I totally support that, especially the $200 price tag on Showdown. So I'm actually going to make sure I get him into one of mine. I think I would elevate him above the CJ Ham that I talked about earlier, who's 800.
Burks.
Oh, that's a different Showdown game, but yeah, either way. Okay. All right. So, hey, dude, we can pull it together only as far as we have the information, Jason. So, like, if we don't have the information, it's really hard to make assessments about who's playing. If we don't know who's playing, and we're trying to figure it out. They have to announce. We can't do it without it getting announced. So I'm just. Oh, he's active. He's active. He's officially active.
He is active. Okay. Okay.
It happened while we were on air. So, so yeah, Kyle Phillips is the popular one. I would, knowing that he's playing, I probably would go different directions because I think that is where people are going to go for that Tennessee receiver. He and Robert Woods will be the ones that get owned. I will play Westbrook and I will play Gordon just to try and get off the chalk.
Makes sense.
That's what I'm doing. Guys, fire in any questions or thoughts. Anything else you got in there? I do like. By the way, I like Knox as a potential captain in your showdown lineups.
Ooh, that's fun.
I think that's another one you could use for your showdowns. So don't mind doing that at all. And let's see.
Looks like the showdown stuff didn't make it. I gave Evan too much to do. The two different showdown slates is rough.
This is a rough slate, a rough day. You know what I mean? We got an actual football slate with 50 viable options that are playing, and then even a small baseball slate where there's like legitimately like 4 really good contrarian stacks, and then there's all kinds of pitching interest because of Kershaw not getting enough pitches or whether Scherzer will. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff going on tonight. It should be a good night to play a lot of lineups, which is what I'm doing.
It looks like the main slate got on to Saberson nicely, so that's good.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, I got that there. And I like, I agree more. I tend to agree more with your ownerships here than I do the other, than I do just the straight Saberson. Although we need to get it updated with Gabe Davis out.
Yep.
And that's the part that's kind of throwing me a little bit. All right. Anything else, guys, that you're going to ask before we keep talking or get out of here in a little bit? Because I need to finish my baseball lineup.
I'm just going to build some lineups here.
Okay.
Again, just so you guys know what I did, nice and transparent. I X'd out Derrick Henry across the board, and I did whatchamacallit, in the Buffalo showdown slate, I made sure to play one of the 2 running backs from Buffalo. I say the 2. I mean, there could be 3, right? But one of the 2 running backs. The 2 main ones, and then I just basically rolled with it. I have a lot of 5-1s, but that's fine.
Yeah, I actually like I found myself going both ways with the 5-1s in the Minnesota Philly game.
Right.
I think it's viable to do like a 5-1 with just Hurts, by the way, because you could see like 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns out of this guy on any day. And he could literally soak up almost all the fantasy points. But I also could make the argument that he's got some legitimate weapons. I think both these teams are pretty good, by the way. I really do. And I like that the line gave the Eagles the 3-point spread because I thought they would overreact to the Vikings and make this a sort of an even game. I do like the Eagles, but I think I wouldn't surprise me at all if the Vikings, put it together.
It's a good game.
Yeah, both good games. I don't know if I like the Eagles to cover. That game feels like it's got a perfect line on it. But it definitely is the game that I want to target for fantasy purposes and much more than the other. So that's where I'm at.
And again, unfortunately, I just can't do the Tennessee ultra contrarian offense thing. I mean, it's definitely ultra contrarian to play Tannehill with like 2 receivers, something like that. I mean, like,
but I like that. I mean, the idea works, right? Then you spend up for everybody else. Then you play the chalk everywhere else, and you do Tannehill with take even Phillips to take the most.
Like you said, maybe he just gets there in garbage time anyway. I mean,
absolutely, and it's not like he at 5,200. I mean, that's a pretty decent savings. You put him with Woods and Phillips, or Woods and Gordon, or something like that, or Westbrook and Gordon, or Westbrook and Woods. And I think that you've got a chance, at least, you could really hit there, or you play him with Hooper in one of those guys. You don't need to go crazy. You don't need to triple stack it. You just play 2 of them with them, and then you play everybody else you want that's chalk everywhere else because people are not playing Tannehill.
Right.
And he has some rushing upside, by the way, too.
Who, Tannehill? He always does. I mean,
yeah. So it's just worth knowing. I like the Shakir thing from Adam. I think that's sort of selling me a little bit. I'm interested in that idea, especially for showdown.
Hips don't lie.
I think it makes some sense. Anyway, guys, I'll be around forever now. I'm not going anywhere for a while, so you will have more than your fair share of me, whether you like it or not. And Sheets, I appreciate you covering, man, and thanks so much for all that. It was really helpful.
No problem.
Yeah. And a good job by Rhodey and Goldie, by the way, on the morning show. I was listening to
Yes, definitely.
They did a nice job. So I'm going to probably go and just finish my baseball lineups unless you want to. We can do it while we're here.
No, I'm just chilling. So I mean, you can talk through it, do whatever you want.
Okay, I'm going to just make sure I've got my baseball lineups the way I want them. I wanted to get my lineups in there. Let's see what we've got here. If there's anything that doesn't work. No, we've got it perfect. It's the only decision I'm stuck between here over and over again is I really like Bellinger tonight, but he's batting 9th, and Joey Gallo is going to be much more popular, which I mean, not much more popular, much more obvious. But I just have a feeling Bellinger hits one out tonight.
Does he still hit 9th?
Yep. It's never fun.
No.
Never fun when you're betting the guy who's hitting 190 batting 9th. But
did he win MVP like a year ago or something?
It was 2 years ago, but yeah, like I mean, it's
Jesus Christ, what happened?
I guess Gallo is the better play, but I kind of like the idea.
I hate playing Gallo. I mean, it's always the right play. I just hate doing it though.
I totally hear you, man. I'm with you. Where it's just, let's see, maybe Lux is the better answer. Yeah, I think Lux and bets like that, and then you hope Luis. I'm still trying to figure out what the Giants are doing. The Giants are really pissing me off in general. There's no reason they should be as late with their lineups.
Giants always piss you off. You're a Dodger fan.
No, but finally, we got the Giants lineup out. Luis Gonzalez is in fact in the lineup, as is Yastrzemski, which I thought he would be. As is VR. Who is that? Tiara Estrada. Lamont Wade is leading off. We have no Tommy La Stella for what it's worth. And at the same time, we have Austin Wynns catching at minimum cost, which is no fun, but it's probably, it's Coors and he's minimum cost. I would rather it be Joey Bart, but can't get everything you wish for. So Wade, we got Wade and Strada is how much tonight? 4.3. So VR. David VR, I think, is that's probably what I'm going to do.
David VR?
I'll probably play him because he's 2,400. You could play him and then play him.
What do you think of KJ Osborne? Are you getting to him?
I think it's fine. I'd rather do it in a showdown. I don't love it for the main slate, but I think he's always got a home run shot in him. It's just so hard for me with the Vikings because they've got such concentrated targets that it's always tricky for me to find a way to get him in there.
And I think the first person they're going to try to get in is Thielen.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. Really like Jock, by the way. If you have to play one Giant only, if you're just going to do whatever, I think Jock hits a home run tonight. It's just a perfect matchup for him.
Why not?
Yeah, it stands out. All right, let's see. Wade.
So I played in the showdown. I played 20% of Boston Scott. I can't quite do it in the two game, but maybe I should. Well,
I'm going to throw one in there. I'll tell you that. So you got a chance at a 0, but you might get the 2 weird rushing touchdowns while Miles Sanders runs for 100 yards and that's it. And then he gets 2 rushing touchdowns, but it could also be Gainwell. It's just so hard with the Eagles. And they do it every year, they do it to us every year. It's really hard to peg that team. Really, really hard. All right. If I want to play this, Wade. Let's do this.
Let's see what this slate looks like here. Let's see something. I got a sliver of him in the 2-gamer. Should have more.
I'm leaving.
We'll see. Maybe I get off to some kind of start in the first quarter of the first game and see what happens.
Yep. Sounds good. All right. I'm actually here. There I am with a 4. I have one 5-man Giant stack. I have to just be transparent about it. I don't love it, but I don't know if I even want to do it. I might change it up. Yeah, I'm going to change it up. I don't want to do it. I promised myself I wasn't going to do it. So
no 5-man.
I didn't want to do the 5-man Giant stack. I really don't want to do it. Will Smith. Giants, you've got VR. I'm going to do VR.
Let's see the baseball. Let me see who I need to deal with right now in baseball. If there's anybody out, we have to check that. Dodgers. So Justin Turner is out. Okay.
Yeah.
He's the one guy I have to deal
He's only
with.
hitting 600 off this guy, so why play him?
Pretty funny.
Doesn't really matter, obviously, for the Dodgers. Okay, this guy's hitting 600. We're no interest. VR. I just can't get my 4th Giant in then. Jeez. I really wanted to get the 4-man with the Giants, but it's a pretty weak Giants lineup, to be honest with you, actually.
So who's in instead of Justin Turner then? So
it's Lux.
Ooh,
Lux.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the Lux play though.
Yeah, me too. Betts, Lux. If I go 27, 37, that leaves me 22. Gonzalez. That's what it is. Yep, bottom of the Giant stack, 4-man with the Dodgers 4-man. That's what I'm doing. And I love paying up for Will Smith at catcher tonight.
Will Smith?
Oh, they did another thing. They're still spamming us.
What do we got?
They're still spamming us over here. It's just NFL stuff. Like it's just like one of those.
Are they telling us who's going to win tonight at least?
Yeah, I wish they would at least. How come Lamont Wade is not showing up as in the lineup on FanDuel, but he's showing up on DraftKings and he's showing up on the MLB page?
FanDuel sucks.
Okay, they've got it now. They pulled it together. It really is weird how they just sort of threw away some of this stuff. I just want to make sure I'm not playing a guy in the 333 that's not playing, or any tournament for that matter. Let's get this refreshed.
Justin Turner out, so I have to deal with that. 10 minutes to not finalize, but at least get rolling.
Yeah, guys, please hit the like if you are in here. I'm blocking this guy too, the NFL thing. And all right. With that, I'm pretty much getting ready.
Team stacks. Dodgers, I like that percentile. That looks good. I like that percentile. Pitchers, I have the pitchers I want. Oh, I like this. And no Saber Sim. I'm not doing it. I don't care what you say. I'm not taking any freaking Arizona stats. I'm just not doing it. I don't have to, right?
No, you don't have to.
This is freaking America.
This is America, right?
Let's see.
I've got Joey Barton on my lineup, so I got to get him out of there.
Joey Bart?
Yeah, I have him in like way too many lineups.
Okay, so there's going to have no Arizona. Now, what's the difference? Now, what do I have? Oh, it's yeah. I'm rolling with this. I'm rolling with this Dodger thing.
Me too. I think it makes a lot of sense.
I'm gonna roll with the Dodgers thing.
And I really like. I do like the Baltimore as well. And
so meanwhile, I was walking back from work today, and I got this like from Star Wars. There's like a tremor in the Force.
Mm-hmm.
I just got the shake for some reason. I think I realized why. Do you know it's like almost NBA season?
Oh my God, it's gonna be wild.
That
is gonna be wild for sure.
I don't even know who's on anybody's team. I don't know. Whatever. I think maybe they made a rule that you have to announce who's playing like at 4 p.m.
They really should, because they're partnered together. So it seems kind of crazy that they haven't figured that out yet. But I don't know. It's
all right. So here's we got team stacks. All right. So wait, we got to get more of that. No, we're not doing that. We're gonna put like, man, they won't let me. You know what? They better let me. Yeah, they're gonna let me whether they like it or not. Send exposures.
And
this is going against my better judgment. Like when I keep on like forcing this stuff in, and they still like, you sure you want to do this? It's usually a sign that I'm like being too greedy, but I don't care. I don't care. We're doing this. Dude, we got off of a really chalky Jack Flaherty last week, just because I just didn't feel like it. Couple of sheets didn't feel like it. Takes worked out pretty nicely actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you know we didn't talk about, just throwing this out there as a pitcher? I don't think it's the worst idea to play Luis Garcia tonight. We just never mentioned
Well,
his
dude,
name.
I talked about that for like the first 15 minutes of my video because when I first looked at it this morning, I'm like, okay, Luis Garcia is going to be the best play. And then I was like wondering why he didn't project well at all. And I just kind of just like talked myself off it, whatever. I guess because Tampa's lineup, I guess, is a little bit better. I guess that's the reason. But
and they don't really have any reason to extend Garcia, but he does always throw 90 pitches.
Right.
But I mean, it's just an interesting pivot off of Kyle Wright and Cabrera.
Well,
I'm not doing much of it, to be honest with you.
Team stacks right there, the Dodgers. And there are some Dodgers. Dodgers, San Francisco, Colorado, Boston. All right, that's just going to have to be what we do. That's just going to have to be what we do.
All right, well, let's make some money tonight. Good luck to everybody. And if there's no more questions, I probably am going to bounce just so I can finish these lineups.
Sure.
I still got to do a ton of football stuff. But I'll be in Discord all night. If anybody's got any thoughts, we want to see some screenshots. Somebody winning $1 million, even if it's just for a minute. We're happy to see it.
That's right.
All right. Good luck, everybody. Sheets, good luck, buddy.
Well, wait, what you got to do? You got to like stack everybody from the first game, including the defense. This is the way you have a chance.
Yeah, there you go. That's true.
This way you have a chance to be winning the $1 million.
Yeah, maybe that earthquake in Mexico will come and hit somewhere near Philly tonight, and that game gets canceled.
Right.
All right. Good luck, everybody. Good luck, man. Thanks again, Sheets.
That matter.
All right. Later, guys.
I'm going to put this over here. I'm just like literally talking to myself right now. Because I want to get the Dodgers in my big one. I got 6 minutes, right? I got plenty of time. Okay, that's good. Now we're going to change this. We'll go edit entries. And let's find the Dodgers stack that I want. Gallo, Betts, Bellinger, yeah, all these characters, right? Yeah, I think this is going to be the deal. I'm going to put this up over here. And then where's another Dodger one? I don't really want to stack the Mets. It looks like it's going to be Tyler Wright and Tyler Wells and Kyle Wright, maybe in the bigger ones up here. All right, so we'll save that. I do have to fix my FanDuel lineup, so let me just check here if there's any questions, but hold on, let me just see something. Okay, looks like a good little stack there. Any questions? No? All right, good luck, everybody.